This is a training film on the STA Compact, manufactured by Diagnostica Stago. We are first going to start off with a little description of what we're going to refer to as the motherboard, which houses many of these circuit boards. The motherboard has a power supply of +5, +12, -12, 26 volts, and a 28 volts AC. It has test points on this. TP1 is the +12 volts, TP2 is the -12 volts, TP3 is the +5 volts versus TP6, which is the digital ground. TP4, which is the +26 volts AC, is in reference to TP5. The functions of this board are to distribute those power supplies to different parts of the STA Compact. This is also the test points for those voltages. This is important, again, is the 5 volts, +12 volts, -12, and the +26 volts. This is the general place where you make a measurement of those voltages. Again, this will be discussed later in the power supply. Here is a list that I'm going to briefly state of all the boards that go into the motherboard. J1 goes to the fuse board, which has 4 voltages on it, +26 volts and 28 volts AC. J2 is the switching power supply, which gives you the +5, the +12, and the -12. A fuse board, which has voltage supervisors for the +5 volts, the 12 volts, and the -12 volts. This is also the vacuum pump control. J4 controls the reagent cooling and measurement block signals, temperature regulation, power supplies. 26 volts controls the reagent stirring power supply, which is 28 volt AC. J5 is the additional component board, which we are going to mention next in this training session. That is located on the left-hand side of the instrument, and it connects directly to the motherboard. J6 is the optical module, which gives you the lamp power supplies of 26 volts. J7 is the input-output board, which we will talk about later. J8 is the identification CPU, which again we will talk about in our next session. J9 and 10 are for the 4-axis boards. J11 and 12 are the DC motor driver boards. J13 and 14, the measurement CPU board, which we will talk about at a later time. J15, the sample drawer, controls the sample drawer motor, the limit switch, and the 0 access for the drawers. For both the sample and the product drawer is J16, which is the same thing. It controls the product drawer motor, the limit switches, and the 0 drawer close switch. J17 is for the barcode reader. J18 is for the 4-port serial board. COM4 is for the identification CPU, which we have talked about in the past. J19 is the 4-port serial board. COM2 for the 4-axis board, which we have also talked about. J20 goes to the suction head, ARM2. It controls 2 0-axis boards, a mechanical switch, and a DC motor, and a stepper motor. For ARM2, that is the suction head. The stepper motor is the Y movement, and the DC motor is the Z movement. The 4-port serial board, COM5, is for the DC motor driver board, port 4. J22, pipetting head, ARM1. It's a connection for the pipetting head board and the stepper motor for the Y movement. J23, chronometry analog board. J24, photometry control board. J26 is the 4-port serial board, COM3 for the measurement CPU board, port 2. J27 is the temperature regulation board. J28 is the input-output control board. J29 is the liquid level detect for the vacuum reservoir, the high and low, and the electric level detect for the high position of the intermediate reservoir. Controls 2 pressure switches for the vacuum reservoir and the cuvette suction. J30 is the liquid level detection high for the used liquid bottle. The present switch for the used liquid bottle. Present switch for the cleaning solution bottle. The present switch for the cuvette disposal drawer. Again, those we will talk about later. J31 is the control of the loudspeaker by the PC. J32 is for the valve core pump. J34 is for the cuvette loader. It controls 2 mechanical switches at the cuvette loader, and 1 mechanical switch controls a disposable drive motor. J36 is 2 present switches for the transparent cover. J37 controls a 3-way electrovalve for the intermediate reservoir cleaning solution, EV6. J38 controls 5 2-way valves, valve core pump, EV3 for needle 1, EV4 for needle 2, EV5 for needle 3, and the washing well for needles EV2. Vacuum pump is controlled by J39. This is 3 3-way electrovalves. They're in parallel, EV7, EV8, EV9. J40 is 2 2-way electrovalves. Washing well for the needles, EV10. Washing well for needle number 1, EV11. Also has 3 3-way electrovalves. 2 electrovalves in parallel for suction and delivery of cuvettes, which are EV12 and EV14. J41, pipetter motor. Zero access board, P1 home movement. In other words, the pipetter home position. J42 controls the X motor. X1 has a zero access board, X1 home position. Zero access board, X1 limit. J44. J45 goes to the cooling pump. That is a 28 volts AC supply. J46 is the ADD photometric measurement board. I would not pay too much attention to those connections. Biomed Buddy will provide a detailed list in the end, which will be printable and available to the general public. Welcome back to Biomed Buddy. This is a training film on the STA Compact, manufactured by Diagnostica